Welcome to Compatriots Family and Community Life Reorientation. My name is DJ Muddi, your host. I'm together here with my colleagues, Mr. Dandy Elebila.
Good day, viewers.
Before we proceed, we want to please apologize for coming up late due to some technical challenges beyond our control, but that has been taken care of. You are welcome once again. Today, we are still focusing on the subject of parenting, and our topic of discussion for today is community approach parenting. Community approach parenting. We know that many people don't have confidence in our modern society anymore due to its high level of moral decadence. But in order to reverse this ugly trend, we first have to know that we must avoid those things that we did that brought us here.
Sure.
As a people, we must avoid those things that we did that brought us here as society, and start doing the things that will guarantee us our desired society.
Of course, we know that the questions on everybody's lips is, how do we get here?
That is the truth.
So certainly there are certain things that we must have done wrong.
Good.
So going forward, we must first have to be able to identify those things we have done wrong, so that we can be able to correct them or avoid those that needed to be avoided. That is the only way we can actually move forward.
Good. And one of those things that we believe we must do or start doing in order that will guarantee us our desired society is parenting. Is effective parenting. Effective parenting. This is the reason we have decided to give it all the seriousness and the attention it deserves. That is the truth. You know, the responsibility of molding the ethics, values, and moral of our children should be taken seriously. We have realized that it may be difficult changing the adults.
Sure.
It may be difficult changing the adults.
Sure.
But we believe that the younger generations presents great opportunity. Present also most opportunity, better opportunity for a better future. That is the truth. Why? Because we believe it is easier to inculcate right values into the younger generations, because they are still in their impressionable age. They are still bendable. They are still ready to change at this stage. We believe so. As we progress in this, we believe that this is the only way to guarantee the future that we are looking for. Before we proceed, remember, you can be part of this conversation by dropping your comments or sending in your messages or calling in And the phone number to call is 07034 658458. 07034658458. Now, we've discovered that once upon a time in our societies, there was less criminality, less violence, and so on and so forth. In fact, social vices were very, very minimal in the then society.
That's true.
In fact, one could travel from one place to another without fear of either being kidnapping or whatever, anything. Why? Because human life was considered very, very sacred then. In fact, we also want another thing before I will ask you to give us just a background of your own upbringing. You see, when I have discovered that when we are talking about society then, one may thought maybe we are talking about the days of our fathers. We are not talking about the days of our fathers.
That's true.
Some of us, at this our little age today, when we are growing up, we experience what we are talking about.
Sure.
So before you quickly share with us some of those experiences, we realize that one could travel from one place to another without any fear because human life was considered very, very sacred. In fact, can you just give us more picture of what it used to be when you were growing up, sir?
Okay, yeah. Let me quickly point out some important facts.
Good.
You know, talking about children or young generation still in their impressionable age.
Yes, sir.
You know, for those of us that are Christians,
yes, sir.
I also want to believe even our Muslim brothers also, we have something in that light.
Yes, sir.
In the Holy Book or the Holy Quran.
Yes, sir.
You know, the Bible said that you should train a child the way he should go.
So that
when he grow up, he won't depart from it. This is the scripture. Now, as a people,
yes, sir,
in our society, this training that God is making reference to, this training that God is talking to, I'm sure God is not pointing at parent, train your child. God must be also being, emphasizing the fact that this training cannot, if it must be effectively done, it cannot be left with parents alone.
Good.
Now, there are values. There are values that even as a nation, that our forefathers, our heroes, had already looked into and discovered that if as people we can imbibe these values, definitely we are going to go far. It will take us a very long way. So some of those values are actually embedded or enshrined in our constitution.
Yes, sir.
Now, as children, I think it is also very necessary, very important that even our children also inculcate or imbibe those values. You know, like from the background, it is only at this stage, of their life, that we can inculcate such values in them, and it will help them go far. It will stay with them for the rest of their lives.
Yes, sir. Good.
We have values such as patriotism. as children, we must understand what patriotism is. We have self-reliance.
Yes, sir.
We have religious tolerance.
Yes, sir.
We have dignity of labor. We have discipline.
Yes, sir.
We have social justice.
Yes,
all
sir.
these are values. They are morals
That is it.
that our forefathers know that if we can imbibe this, the devil cannot stop us from development.
That's the truth.
But if you look around, we know little or nothing about these values. And we feel that as a people in this community or in this society, it is necessary we also look into how to inculcate these values in our children.
Good.
Then you also, you know, about sharing my own experience.
Yes, sir. When you were growing
I want to say that
we are talking specifically on, you see, upbringing.
Yeah.
But before you come to the upbringing, just give us a picture of the kind of society you came to meet when you were
when we were growing up. I remember in those days when I was younger, I used to say it. I used to tell my friends that I usually sleep on a bench.
Yes.
In those days where the house is full, everybody was around. So the place I was sleeping, my brother has taken over. So, and I wouldn't want to go and sleep. I'm already grown up to something. I wouldn't want to go and lie on my mother's bed. So there is, on our passage, there used to be a bench there. So I used to sleep on that bench for several years. I was sleeping on that bench. And I remember those days. Our front door are not always locked. The main entrance door always open, and I will be there sleeping till daybreak, and nothing happens to me. Nothing has happened. You could live. I remember vividly in those days. Maybe you need firewood.
Yes.
And you will see where firewood is being sampled for sale.
Yes.
And you want to buy, nobody was around. I remember in those days there used to be all these Igbira people in our village.
Yes.
They sell yam, firewood, and what have you. Sometimes you go to their hut and you discover there was nobody. You already know how much they are selling these things.
Yes.
People could buy and leave money there. Just carry a stone and put on top. And the owner will come and meet his money or her money. You could also, in fact, in those days, you do a farm. Of course, you know animals used to come around and you set a farm. There's nothing like a fence. You just put something that looks like a human being.
Yes.
And the farm is safe. You keep firewood in those days and you just put a stone on top as a mark of security. Don't touch. Just a stone you put on it. And those things will remain there. Nobody will touch it. But these days,
you can't dare
the case is different. The case is different.
The
amount of criminality in our society today is massive.
Massive. So alarming. So alarming.
And something
you were
has
saying
to be done.
You could sleep in your own house.
In my own house with doors open.
And nobody, even your parents know that you are secure. So
you are secured. No fear. You forget something somewhere, you are guaranteed that when you go back there, you will get it back. But today the difference, even in the church, you dare not forget your phone.
You dare not forget your own phone.
You see, a pastor will announce during Thanksgiving.
Yes.
If you stand up to go and pay off in a place, go along with your valuables.
Oh my God.
Even in church.
My God.
It has become that bad.
Our society is no longer secure. It's no longer safe.
It's no longer safe. Our society is no longer safe.
You see, now, another thing we have also discovered of the then society, one of the experience as you are sharing, we also discovered that apart from keeping your things and things are safe, we also discover that the members of the societies, people in those days, in fact, they look after, they have the habit of looking after each other.
So,
in fact, they look after each other.
That's true. That's true. I could remember in those days. In fact, there are very many women in my hometown today that I recognize them as mother. That actually play the roles of mother in my life. And such people, I don't think I can ever forget them because of the impact they took upon my life. So in those days, raising children is actually not
just a one
person's responsibility. It's the responsibility of the entire society, not just responsibility of parents. From your home to the street to the market, when you do something wrong, you will see somebody that will play a role and in fact, let me call your attention to something. In my hometown in those days, there's something we normally do. Of course, we are not saying there were no criminality in those days. No, that is not what that is not the point. But what we are saying is that criminality and all these things that were minimal. They are very minimal. In those days, sir, there's something we normally do in my village. We normally have yam festival. Always come. The yam festival always comes up every June. I think June 20th. Yes, sir. Now, there is an event that usually happen in that festival. Now, if you are a member of that community and you do anything wrong, even if people pretend, or even if you try as much as you think you can hide those things, wait until the yam festival come and pass. Because during the yam festival, all the people that have done bad, that have done one atrocity or the other, you will see the whole youth, you will see men, people that knows about that thing you do. They will now organize people, the whole community. You will see the crowd. They will get leaf. Everybody will get leaf from any form of tree. They will now march to your house and be singing all sorts of songs. So now that leaf that they are holding is a protest. That leaf they are holding, they will make sure that they drop all the leaf in front of your house and make all the noise to let you know that though even you were able to hide it, but we saw it and we want to let you know that this is wrong. Frowns at it. And you discover that then, even if you have it in mind to do something wrong, by the time you remember that the society will come knocking, you have to hold yourself. You'll be forced, you'll be compelled, because the society is watching. Yes, sir. They want to ensure that our society is peaceful and is secure. Good. But these days, those things are no more. That is it. Civilization has taken over. I used to ask myself, why is it that they are no longer doing this thing again? They no longer do it at all, because a lot of things has happened. But the truth remains that in those days, those things, the people are in check all the time. That is it. You want to do something, you have to ask yourself, are you ready to do this? That is it. Knowing the consequence you get to face thereafter. Then, drawing from that habit of looking after each other, we've discovered that even in those days, child upbringing is also considered as the responsibility of everybody in the society. Yeah. Every member of the community see upbringing of everybody's children as their own responsibility as well. That's true. In fact, I have also discovered that, in those days, every adult in our community, just as I've said, had the right to discipline other children. Sure. Other children. Sure. Who were growing up. In fact, they have right to discipline us anytime we misbehave. Yes. Outside the home, or even in the presence of our parents. In fact, I remember several scenarios, several cases where I do something wrong outside. And one woman out there will hold me by my hand. After flogging me right there, he will hold me by my hand and bring me to my parents and say, see what. And my parents will continue where they stop. Yes. And That is how we were brought up.
Now, do you know why in those days, if somebody saw you misbehaving outside, disciplined you, and still brought you home and hand you over to your parent, and the parent will continue from, you know what they were actually saying? They were proving to you that truly, even without in our absence, someone out there has the right to discipline and to correct you whenever you are wrong. You know, this is, I think there is a great lesson to learn from that. Good. So we'll progress from here. Then, just like we are saying, that all this were made possible then because our societies and communities then, they uphold respect for moral values. They uphold respect for moral values. But today the story is different. In fact, the rate of criminality in our society today is so alarming and calls for concern every day. In fact, in your own house, you'll be afraid sleeping in your own house because if the criminal come knocking,
with your high and mighty face, you still cannot sleep with your two eyes open.
Closed.
I mean, with your two eyes closed.
With your that is serious. In fact,
it's not funny. It's not funny.
Now, the challenge is just as you said, the question in our mind, especially the younger ones that did not know that some of us just imagine at our age, we are telling the story of how the kind of society we made when we were growing up. Not in the days of our fathers, just our days. So the younger ones today, most of them will not actually know that few years back, even in this nation, things were so peaceful. You can, but today the issue is, so the question is, how did we get here? What are the factors that are responsible for this, this decadence, this moral decadence, that we get to this kind of society where you don't have peace, where people are always afraid because they don't know what may happen next. From human beings, not from animals. Human beings are supposed to be protecting one another has become terror to one another. Become terrors to one another. How did we get here?
I will always make reference to the scripture because we are men of the scripture.
That is it.
The Bible said righteousness
exalt a nation. But sin is a reproach.
Now, if we look at the other side of that scripture. If we look at the other side, other part, the part of that scripture, God is saying, I don't want to quote now, I want to paraphrase.
Yes, sir.
God is saying, if a nation is not righteous, then what is the opposite of exaltation?
It's reproach that he's talking about.
So now, we need not to look for any prophet to tell us how we got here. Because of the truth, those things that uphold us then, those values that actually, they are no more.
That is it.
Now, what happened? What has happened? Because we parents, we the parents, we have failed. We have failed to bring up our children the way we were being brought up.
Yes, sir.
We have failed to inculcate those values to our children.
Yes.
That is the truth. We have failed in our responsibility to transfer those morals that our parents actually gave us.
Yes.
In fact, it started from us. We have derailed from the track. We have left. We have forgotten our stories.
Yes.
That is how we got here.
Yes, sir.
So don't expect anything better. Don't expect unless we are able and unless we are very willing and ready to go back to those days where morals are being valued, where parents invest in their child morally, where parents make moral upbringing most important in the life of their children. This today,
yes, sir.
Another thing I want to also mention.
Yes, sir.
So our society has also failed in their responsibility. But you will not blame them. You will not blame the society.
It's true.
You still bring it back to
yes,
parents.
That is the primary.
Because these days, you dare not touch my child. You will have to tell me what right you have on my child. I dare not touch your child. I dare not correct your child. Imagine in the Western world, a child will call 119 on his parents. And we are Africans. These are what they're already bringing. They're already bringing those nonsense to us here.
Yes, sir.
You go to schools, teachers dare not touch a child.
My God.
A child will do a wrong thing at home and you dare not touch. The parent will come and carry fire on their head. You know, those are the reasons why we find ourselves here. You know, we are very quick to say our leaders are this, our leaders is that.
Yeah.
Who are the leaders? Who I used to ask, who are the leaders?
They are from us.
Does those leaders fall from heaven?
No.
Are they not from among us?
They are all from among us.
So what are we saying? We have left our first love. And until we are able to find our step back, don't expect anything. And don't expect anything better than.
That is it.
In fact, it will grow from bad to worse.
Definitely.
But God forbid.
Amen.
And that is why we are here.
That's why we're here.
That is why we are here.
That is it.
We have been able to identify that as a society, it is on us to ensure that every children in our societies are well brought up.
Yes.
So it is not my child, and you neglect him or her.
Yes.
That is wrong
of
a society.
So what he's saying is that one crucial factor why we found ourselves is because most families have abandoned the responsibility of molding the moral ethics and values of their children for one reason or the other. And you know, the more we abandoned or the more we fail to uphold right values, to inculcate it and imbibe it and encourage it, to promote it, you know, the more we fail to do that, the more our society becomes decayed morally. That is the reason why we found ourselves here.
And another thing is it is not just enough to inculcate. It is also, after you have inculcated, you need to uphold.
Good.
You need to ensure that this child imbibe these values. But for us, these new generation parents, we believe the children must have been taught in school.
Yes.
The morals. So we are less concerned. We believe they must have been hearing the preaching in church, Sunday school, children's Sunday school. So we left this responsibility
of enforcing,
upholding those morals in our children. We have left it. We have neglected it.
That is very, very bad. Now, the second reason, because just 2 points, we just want to, just 2 factors. Because of our time in this program, we just bring 2 factors. One, we say failure of families, you know, to inculcate and uphold, you know, moral values. Second reason is our individualistic and materialistic lifestyles. You know, we have understand that modernization brought a lot of changes to our societies, even to our nation. And one of those changes is individualistic and materialistic lifestyles. Today, most of us have abandoned our responsibility of looking after each other. Just like we are saying in those societies, the time we were growing up.
Because of modernization.
Because of modernization. Everybody, your only mind, you mind your business, I mind my business.
You build your house now, you put a very tall fence.
You don't want
you have no business with any
other in your neighborhood.
That's true.
Even you are hearing noise there.
You dare not cross. Don't cross your boundary.
Sir, it has worse to the point that, you know, especially in the city, you know, it's gradually, you know, the danger of modernization that we are talking about, civilization that we are talking about, is that you know that the lifestyle we are living here, most people are living American lifestyle here without being to America.
That's true.
Because the world has become a global village. Through technology, internet, and what's of you can just learn and copy there. The same thing in urban here. In the urban city, what is in the city, what is happening here? For instance, you see some people will be in the compound. They do not know the next neighbor, not even the name of the next neighbor, the state, the local where the next neighbor come from, the job of the next neighbor. They don't know not anything about their next neighbor, and nothing concern them. They just say, we just share a compound, or nothing joined us. Now that is what we're talking. In those days, sir, not only in the compound, but in the entire community. One man will take you around and he'll tell you the name of the children of almost everybody in the community.
I used to tell people in those days, my dad will wake up as early as 5 a.m. And right immediately he wake up 5 a.m. he will go to the church, ring the prayer bell.
Yes.
Then from the church, he will now start from one house to the other, to the other, to the other. He will go as far as how many kilometers away from the house. Before he will come back, it's already daybreak. He will now come back and start preparing to go to the farm or to go to work.
He's shaking on the welfare.
In fact, a few days back, I was asking myself, am I sure I can do this? If I come to your house and knock your door, today, tomorrow you come, you knock, next tomorrow you come, you knock, Even your wife that you married today in this our generation, even your wife that you married, if you call her too much, he will suspect you.
That's the truth.
That is the kind of society we are in today. That is what modernization has brought to us. We no longer look out for each other. In fact, we don't even have the time. Everybody is on individualistic lifestyle.
In fact, you're mindful. You know, one of the danger is that we're not only, you know, just as we say, we're not only pursuing our individual goals. We are also only interested in our own families and ourselves. We no longer pay attention to the welfare of others. Do you know that our inability to pay attention to the welfare of others is one of the factors that brought about a lot of all the banditry that you are seeing today.
That's true.
Many people became so hopeless because nobody paid attention to them.
As a parent,
Yes,
when you care less about your neighbors and people around you, even if you happens to get to, a seat of power,
yes, sir,
you will still exhibit that
the
habit.
same
You
thing.
will care less about your subject. You will care less about people you are either appointed or you are elected
to serve.
To serve. That is just it. It's from the family. It's from home.
From the neighborhood, from the community, from the side before
home.
Whatever. That is very bad. And as a result of that, we also fail to ensure that our neighbors' children behave well. Just like you are saying, not knowing that child or those children will neglect to discipline or correct, tomorrow may come back to us as banditry.
Sure.
They may come back to us as terrorists,
as kidnappers,
armed robbers, because
the other neighbor's child that you have neglected because he's not yours. He will come back tomorrow and kidnap your child that you have invested so much in and cause you pain and make you cry.
That means your responsibility, as a responsible member of the community, your duty is not only to just take care of your family.
No.
If you take your eyes off your neighbor's child who is misbehaving, say, nothing concerns me. It's not my, who am I to correct or discipline another man's child? It's not my own. As far as my own, I can
if you want to perish, let him perish.
If you want to let him perish, it's just because it is not your own.
I pray by the time he's perishing, he will not hold you
along with him. That is the truth. So we have discovered that is one of the reasons we are where we are today. But quickly, we're going to look at the way out. How can we, turn this around? How can we, change this ugly narrative? Is the purpose for this program. How can we turn things around? How can we reverse this ugly trend? You're actually giving us, emphasizing it from the introduction, for us to know that truly where we are today is as a result of our failure looking after others. So we quickly want to let you know that as a society, for us to be able to turn this tide, the best way to rebuild this broken world of values in our communities and families is to embrace what we are bringing on board today. That is community approach parenting. Community approach parenting. What do we mean by community approach parenting? We are talking about a situation whereby every member of the society is given the right, have an active role and participate in the upbringing of each other's children. Where every member of the society is playing an active role in the upbringing of each other's children. Do you know that this is just like you are saying, sir? Because this is the same approach that is being used on some of us in this nation. In fact, I want you to shed more light to it because personally mine.
Sir,
yes,
I will just give one example.
Good.
There are things that has happened in the past that actually keep us going.
Good.
Give us the strength.
That is it.
And the courage, to do the right thing at all time, because we have this mindset.
Good.
We are being raised with this mindset that there are certain things you dare not do. There are certain places you dare not go. And we grow up like that. I could remember in those days, my mom especially,
yes, sir.
my mom especially, while in school, I was a bit stubborn.
Yeah.
Those that know,
yeah.
know
how we used to do in those days. Yeah.
I was a little bit stubborn. So in fact, even within the house, my brothers, as a last born, last born kind of.
All,
So, but at a point when my mother saw that this is going out of hand, she handed me over to one of his cousin brother. She handed me over. That one happens to be teacher in my school. He came from one and became teacher in my school, and the man is also tough.
Good.
So my mother handed me over to him and said, "This is your son. Please look after him." And he's a hard man.
Yes.
Everybody that knows Abiodun Ayeni. Anywhere I go, whatever I become today, that man laid that foundation. And I will forever in my life appreciate him for that. I don't know where he is now. I don't know where he is now. For years, over 30 years, I don't think over 20, 25 years, I have not seen him. But the training he gave me.
Stay with you.
That time, I was thinking that he was wicked.
That is it.
That was, in fact. But the things he has done in my life, he made me see what is right, make me see what is wrong. He made me believe that you have to do your best at all times. You have to give your best at all time. Those my parents were not there. In fact, they don't have the capacity because they were not educated.
That is it.
Both my mom and my dad, none of them go to school.
That is it.
My dad will tell you the small English that he's speaking. He picked them under the cassava tree in the farm. So they don't have Western education, but they have morals. They taught us morals.
That is it.
My mother handed me over to this man. And I don't want to, let me not bore you with. But what I'm trying to say is that our upbringing were not solely our parents' responsibility.
Good.
The community, the society, every elderly person in my community play a very massive role in my upbringing. And I can be mentioning all the names, even though I don't know where they are. Most of them have died, most of them are still alive but aged. But I can mention names of mothers, fathers that really play active roles in our own upbringing. But today, those
we
have left those values.
Truly, what we are saying is that the reasons some of the societies in the past are enjoying certain peace and certain peace is because us child upbringing were not left for just
the
parents.
See, the
community see it as a responsibility of everybody. That's the truth, because some of us, our successful upbringing, what we are saying is that our successful upbringing is a product of many hands.
Many hands, sure.
Many hands. That's in true. Our communities.
That's true.
Many hands. Just like we said before, everybody in our society then was entitled. He has the right to discipline us.
So what we are saying now, directly or indirectly, is that we adults of every society, wherever you find yourself, wherever you are listening to us right now, as an adult, as a parent, we are advising, we are recommending that we must assume the responsibility of upbringing every children in our society.
That is it.
So don't say it is not my child. Don't say no, it is his child. It is your responsibility ensuring that every child is well brought up.
That is right. And this is a great choice that we have at our hands. Whether we'll continue to live in this kind of society we find ourselves now, where criminality, kidnapping, all manner of social vices are the order of the day, or we desire a better society, a peaceful society for ourselves and for our children. So community approach parenting is the option.
Sure.
Is the option.
And also, having said that, that we all must assume the responsibility of looking out for the welfare or well-being of other people's children. We must also admit the fact, as parent, we all as parents must also accept, admit,
yes,
other people trying to correct our own child.
Very, very important.
Very, very important.
Very, very
we
important.
must be able to cooperate with other people, other parents, in order to. That is also very important.
That is the area we're going to discuss last now.
Okay.
You see, we've discovered two categories in the society we are talking about. The society and the individual parents. The society are those good. The two categories that we are talking about is that the society, the noble citizens out there that are willing. Because as we are talking now, many people that are listening to us now are making up their mind that they're not going to stand on the fence any longer. They're not going to take their eyes away any longer. Anywhere they go in the society, if they see any child misbehaving, they will do their best to correct that child in love, safely discipline the child. Now, we need to also, we want to also talk to you, the parents, because of this, of the individualistic and the materialistic nature we are living now. You see your child as your own property. But I want you to know, just, you see, we want every parent to understand that your child is yours only when he was in the womb. But the moment he or she is being brought forth, that child is no longer yours alone. The child belongs to you and the society.
So the society also holds responsibility of training or raising that child
to become a successful member and contribute to the society.
Yes.
So, as a responsible parent, you have no right
to resist
another, to resist someone
correcting your child
in love. In fact, if there is anybody out there who is willing to correct your child, either you're present or in your absent, such a fellow is not just helping you, is helping not only you,
but even
but the society. Good. You see, what we are saying today is because you must not, as a parent, resist others from correcting or disciplining your child. Why? Because if this child becomes successful tomorrow, it is not only the praise, the glory, it's not only for you. Even the society is responsible for it. And if the child becomes a terror tomorrow, it's not only your family.
It's even the society
In fact, it's the society that will suffer it first.
Suffer it most.
He may not come home and kidnap you as a father,
he will not even terrorize you.
He will not even terrorize you.
It's only the story that you'll be hearing.
You'll be hearing.
You may not find funny, but he will not. Your child will not come and terrorize you. He will be terror to the society. So the society holds the responsibility of ensuring that this child becomes a responsible member of the society.
So that is very, very important. As we are calling on the society to become responsible in looking after each other's children.
To correct other children in love.
In love. In love. You discipline your fellow brothers or sisters' children in love. In love. Self-discipline. You discipline them safely.
And of course, that is exactly what our families, our communities actually need right now.
That is the truth.
Going forward.
Going forward. That's what we need right now. In order to avert the negative trend of moral decadence in our society.
So please don't hesitate to send your view and your comment in the comment section. Let us have your view on the topic of discussion today. Of course, it has to do with you. It has to do with me. It has to do with every one of us in the society, in the world at large. Because you know, when your family is peaceful, your immediate community, your immediate society is peaceful, your nation is peaceful, and the world at large will become peaceful. But when your family is in chaos, then definitely the society may not be at peace. Now, it is our responsibility, every one of us, it is our responsibility to ensure that our communities, our societies are peaceful and secure. So it is in our hand. Please, let's uphold our value, ensure that these values are, passed on to our next generation, the younger generation, and ensure that they also imbibe these values. And we see our society and community a better place for it. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and follow us on our Facebook channel or Facebook handle, so as to be able to get access to subsequent episode of this program. Now, you can also send us text messages. You can call in. Is every Mondays, of course, every Monday by 2 o'clock this program comes up. So you can call in to let us to hear your own view concerning the topic of discussion. And the numbers you can always call in is 070-3465-8458. I'll take that again, 070-3465-8458. And you can send us messages through the same number. And of course, please, you will do well to also subscribe to our YouTube channels, the Compatriots Club Nigeria. Compatriot Club Nigeria is our YouTube channel where you can also get previous and subsequent episode of this program. But for now, our name remains
DJ Muddi.
And I'm still Dandy Elebila. Thank you for watching. See you next Monday, God's willing. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.